Good afternoon, and I'd like to continue on where we left off yesterday. This is section 1.4 on geometric series. So again, just as there was in arithmetic sequences, arithmetic series is a sum of all the numbers in a list. A geometric series is the same kind of thing. It's the sum of all the numbers in a list of a geometric sequence. So we'll go through some problems with this type. First of all, a new formula, and again, the same type of parameters in this one. One thing is if you're trying to do this in the calculator all at one time, be sure to use a bracket on the bottom so that your calculator will do proper bed maths. And again, the exponent is to the power of n, but the subtracting one is down below, not in the exponent like it is in the general terms, the Tn formula. Okay, so determine the sum of the first 10 terms of each geometric series. So it's telling us what the term number is. We just need to find out the sum, a fairly straightforward question for part A anyway. So they want us to find the sum of the first 10 terms. So we put the formula down, r to the power of n minus 1, all divided by r minus 1. Okay, so substitute what we know. The T1 is 4. Now to get r, remember how you get r? You find out the difference here. So it's 12 divided by 4 is 3 is my r. And they're looking for 10 terms. Subtract 1. All divided by 3, take away 1. We keep going, and if you're doing it piece by piece, for this one I will show the piece by piece work. So 3 to the power of 10 equals 59,049, subtract 1, all divided by 2. And so then we're going to have, continue with your simplification, 59,048 divided by 2. And at that point, you can cancel and just have 2 times 59,048, and your answer is 118,096, the sum of 10 terms. Okay, now for part B is slightly trickier, and the reason for that is because of the fraction, okay? And they want you to keep it in fraction form unless otherwise indicated. So when we go to do this into the formula, okay, our T1 is 5. Our ratio is 1/2 to the power of 10. Subtract 1. All divided by 1/2, take away 1. Okay, so I'm going to go old school here and deal with fractions old school instead of changing that to 0.5, okay? Because the answer they wanted in fraction form. So first, when I do 1/2 to the power of 10, you get 1 over 1,024. And how you do that is just simply go 1 to the power of 10 and 2 to the power of 10. Subtract 1. And when you go 1/2, take away 1, you're going to be having negative 1/2. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little sidebar here to deal with common denominators. So if you have 1 over 1,024, and you need to subtract 1, but you want to have this common denominator, that's like saying 1,024 over 1,024. It's still 1. So that will give me negative 1,023 over 1,024. Okay, So I come back over to my work over here and continue along. Negative 1,023 divided by 1,024, all divided by negative 1/2. Okay. So next I'm going to deal with the distributive property, or you could divide by 1/2 first. 5 divided by 1/2. 5 divided by negative 1/2 is going to leave you with negative 10. And then you can do your multiplication. Okay? So that's going to leave you with, when you multiply this through, remember there's an invisible 1 on the bottom, and when you're multiplying fractions across the top, you're going to get positive 10,230 over 1,024. Okay? Now you can reduce that down to lower terms than that if you want to. 1,024 divided by 2. So we could make it 512, 5,015. Or you can make it into a mixed fraction as well. Okay? And so that's how you deal with a fraction one. Now, you could have changed those all to decimals, but you're not going to get the exact answer that you would if you kept it in fraction form. So I would prefer to keep it in fraction form if possible. Okay? You can pause the video here and try this one on your own. Okay, and we will try this one together. First, to figure out R, we will do 15 divided by 5, which is 3. So for A, my sum of 8 terms, I take the T1, which is 5. My ratio is 3 to the power of 8. Subtract 1. 3 take away 1. And do up the math. 6, 5, 6, 1, subtract 1, all over 2. Keep simplifying. And then multiply. 5 times 6560, 32,800 divided by 2 gives me 16,400. And for B again, it's dealing with fractions. We have a T1 of 64 and a ratio of 1/4. Okay, so my T1 is 64, ratio is 1/4 to the power of 8, or 1/4 minus 1. So keep it in fraction form if you can. 1/4 to the power of 8 is 1 over 65,536, all divided by negative 3/4. Then, you want to do a little sidebar here to help subtract fractions. Remember, it has to have the same common denominator. So that will leave you with negative 65,535 over 65,536. Bring that back over here. divided by negative 3/4. Now, that won't work out evenly to divide those, so we will just multiply first. So it's like saying 64 over 1. 64 times negative 65,535 is equal to negative 4,194,240 over 65,536. Now, I'm going to put the division sign here, divided by negative 3/4, because remember, when you divide fractions, you flip and multiply. Okay. So you will take that and multiply across the numerators to get negative 16,776,960, all divided by negative 196,608. That can reduce down to 21,845 and 256, or 85 and 85, 256. Okay? Big, strange numbers for fractions. And I'll just pull out the answer. Oh, that's supposed to be 85 there. Okay. Now, there's an alternate formula for finding the sum. This one is used if you don't know n. Sometimes they will not be able to tell you how many number of terms there are because it just goes on for infinite numbers. They don't give you which one they're looking for. So this is a formula you can use in that case. Determine the sum of a geometric series for an unspecified number of terms. Okay, lots of fractions in this one as well. Now notice in this one it gives us the Tn, but we don't know, it just says dot 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 to the Tn. We don't know how many terms there are. So we are able to figure out the R. But again, you're going to have to know some fractions in order to figure out. Remember, to find R, I'm going to do the second term divided by the first. So when you divide, you flip and multiply, which will give you 27 over 9, or 3. So my ratio is 3. I know my Tn and I know my T1. So I'm going to use this formula. The ratio times Tn minus T1, all divided by R minus 1. Okay. So my ratio is 3. My Tn is 729 minus my T1, all divided by the ratio minus 1. Okay, simplify as much as you can here. 3 times 729 is 2,187 minus 127, all over 2. Now again, we can't subtract that yet until we have a common denominator. So over to the side we go. If you have 2,187 over 1, subtract 1 over 27. We need a common denominator of 27 instead of 1. So we need to multiply this by 27, the top number, the numerator, and you get 59,049. And then when you subtract them, you'll get 59,048 over 27. That's what you'll have on the top. Back over here, your numerator will now be 59,048 over 27 divided by 2. So that 2 there. So again, when you're dealing with fractions, you cross multiply or flip and divide, flip and multiply. Okay? So on the top you'll have 59,048. On the bottom, 27 times 2, that'll give you 54. And you can reduce that down. Which is 29,524 divided by 27. Okay? And we have a part B as well. No fractions in this one. So, but we do have to find our R. Our R you get by doing negative 16 divided by 4, which is negative 4. Okay. So again, for finding the formula, we do R times Tn minus T1 divided by R minus 1. So our ratio is negative 4. Our Tn was negative 65,536. Minus 4. Where was our first term? Was it not? Yes. All divided by negative 4 minus 1. Simplify a bit. 4 times. That will give me 262,144 minus 4 divided by negative 5. Negative 4 and negative 1 makes negative 5. So 262,140 divided by negative 5. $52,428. No fractions on that one. Not too bad. Oh, negative 52,000, sorry. Negative 52,428 because I'm divided by a negative 5. Okay. Pause the video here and you can try that one on your own. And we'll solve it. So we don't know the number of terms, so we're using this formula. So before we can do anything, we need to figure out our R on this first one. And sometimes these ones are not as clear when they're fractions for people. So as a little sidebar, you do 1/16 divided by 1/64. Cross multiply or flip and multiply, which would give you 64 over 1. 64 divided by 16 is 4. And my ratio is 4. So I put that in, 4. My Tn is 1,024. My T1 is 1/64. all divided by 4, take away 1. Simplify a bit. 4 times 1,024, 4,096, minus 164, all divided by 3. Again, you need a sidebar over here to figure out the fraction. So 4,096, right now it's over 1. We can't subtract that until they both have 64 as their denominator. So in order to get the numerator equivalent, I multiply by 64. 262, 144. Subtract 1 will leave you with 262, 143, all over 64. Bring that back over here. 262,143 divided by 64, and all divided by 3. So, cross multiply or flip and multiply. So you'll have 262,143 divided by 192, which reduces down to 87,381 over 64. And we have part B. Our ratio here is going to be 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2. Okay, so again, we're using this formula where we don't know the number of terms. We know our ratio is negative 2. Our Tn, negative 8192. And our first term is negative 2. Negative, negative there. Watch out for that. And our ratio is negative 2 as well. So when we simplify the numerator, we get 16,384. Remember, when you have two negatives like that, plus 2, all divided by negative 3. So 16,386 divided by negative 3. Negative 5,462. Final answer. Let's just double check to see if that's what they're calling for in the answer, please. Got those. 87,381 over 64 and 5462. And that is the first part of lesson 1.4. Hope to see you all on Tuesday. Enjoy your very, very long weekend. Bye.